Okay, and again, welcome everybody. My name is Kevin Ezel. I'm the Senior Director of Graduate Recruitment here in the College of Business, specializing in recruitment of our Flex MBA and our one-year MBA program. And I'm joined by Allison Toth. Allison, do you want to unmute yourself and just say hello?
Hi everyone, my name is Allison Toth. I'm the graduate recruiter for the Specialty Masters programs here in the College of Business at Lehigh. So welcome everybody. We're happy to have you.
Great, thanks. And we're joined with some current students today. And I always say this is one of my favorite presentations to do because they kind of drive it, right? It's going to be their stories and their experiences here during their time at Lehigh. That's going to be most important to you. For those that joined us live today from across the world, and for those that are going to be watching it on recording. So with that, why don't we get started? What I'm going to do for our we have looks like 4 or 5 current Lehigh graduate students here, and one additional one may be coming. So what I'm going to do is in the chat room for our Lehigh students, I'm just going to put some prompts in here of how you can kind of introduce yourself. So for our Lehigh students, I'll call on you individually, but I'd like you to kind of tell us a little bit about where you're from, what program you're currently enrolled in, little bit about your previous education experience or educational background, and then also what attracted you to Lehigh. So Besa, I'm going to put you on the spot if that's okay. So Besa, if you are able to unmute yourself, go ahead. There we go. And feel free to kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Besa Masaiti and I'm from Botswana. I'm enrolled in the 2-year Master of Science in Financial Engineering program here at Lehigh University. And in undergrad, which was last year, I studied a Bachelor of Science in Economics with minors in Mathematics and Actuarial Science at Texas Tech University. I also initially came to the US on a chess scholarship, so I'm somewhat of a professional chess player. And then what attracted me to this program at Lehigh University was first the people. I was able to speak to the program manager at least a year before I joined the program, and interacting with him and sharing my experience and what my future, my hopes for the future are like is what I was like, okay, so they really love their people and they are willing to interact with students and such. And then, of course, the scholarship, they offered sizable scholarships, and that's part of what drew me to the school.
Great, Besa, thank you. So there's somebody from our Masters in Financial Engineering program. Colin, I believe you're enrolled in the Masters in Management. If you want to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
How's it going? My name's Colin Fowler. I'm from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. It's right outside of Philadelphia. Like he just said, I am enrolled in the Masters in Management program. I graduated from Lehigh last year as a mechanical engineering student. What attracted me to Lehigh originally was because of the engineering school. And after graduating with my engineering degree, I kind of wanted to be able to kind of build my business background and join the Masters in Management program.
Awesome, thank you. Divya, you're next on my screen here. So if you want to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure, Kevin. Hi, everyone. I am from India. I'm on the 1 MBA program here at Lehigh. So it's a one-year program. I studied business and accounting for undergrad, and I'm also a chartered accountant from India. So my background is in finance, so I'm hoping the MBA is gonna help accelerate my career. I got to know of Lehigh through one of my managers at Wells Fargo. So he was an alum, he is an alum of Lehigh, and then spoke to Kevin early last year about the program, and I was really interested, and a very good scholarship was a big motivating factor to take the program. Yeah.
Divya, welcome. And it doesn't feel like that long ago, and it's like you'll be done the program in a couple months, which is crazy. So yeah, it's good to see you again, and thanks for joining us. And let me see here, Duke. Duke, if you'd like to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Allison. I mean, it just feels like yesterday when I first talked to Allison. She was actually my first person to talk to at Lehigh. So I'm currently originally from China, currently studying Lehigh's an MS in Applied Economics program. And this is my second semester. I did a fall semester and did my spring semester, and this is my second semester of my master's study. And then I did my undergrads in Hong Kong, and then my previous education, I had a bachelor's degree in finance, and also had my first master's degree in finance as well, and worked for 3 years, and then came from Lehigh. I think Lehigh's master's of the econ program is a great preparation for the PhD studies. If you want to head to the PhD studies, I think the professor here of economic departments is amazing, and I think is very prestigious and has a very, very good reputation across the country. Because I actually submitted 30 applications for my PhD application for my finance PhD program this year, and I received very good results. And 2/3 of my recommendation come from Lehigh, and so I am really, really grateful for Lehigh's all of the arrangements. I received a teaching assistantship from the department, and I think it was an amazing experience. So thank you very much for arranging this event as well.
Yeah, thank you. And it's great to hear a lot of different backgrounds from different programs, but I'm sure very relevant to a lot of the people that are here today. So the first question I was going to ask our committee, and for those who are attending, Allison, go ahead.
I was just going to say Maddie joined us, so she wants to
Maddie, I'm
introduce
sorry.
herself. Yeah.
So Maddie, I know literally probably ran out of class to get here because I know she had a class right up until the start of this. So Maddie, if you want to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your previous academic backgrounds, a little bit about the program that you're in, that would be a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I did come straight from class, so I'm super grateful to be here with all of you. My name is Maddie Blomquist. I am a part of the Masters of Business Analytics here at Lehigh. Before coming to Lehigh, I went to Ithaca College for my undergrad, graduated in 2022 with my Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, concentrated specifically in sport management and marketing, and I also had a minor in business analytics, so definitely kept busy in undergrad. Upon my graduation, I did take a job. I was working in New York City in sales, tried it out for a year, always had the goal of going back to school. And through that job, I was able to meet and network with different people within my organization and find out that business analytics is an area that I would love to explore professionally and just learn more. There's so much to learn about analytics currently, and it's looking that it's going to stay that way. So wanted to be able to equip myself with the different tools and analytic skills that I would need going back into the workforce, and have found exactly that and so much more through this program in the Masters of Business Analytics. It's been a fantastic experience for me so far. And yeah, I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to be here and speak with all of you today. So thank you.
Great. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. So what we'll do for our Lehigh students here, I have a couple questions that I'd like you to all answer, and feel free, you can just unmute yourself. It's pretty casual. And then for our guests that are here today that may be considering Lehigh, maybe some of you have already applied, maybe some of you have already accepted your offer, in our chat room, feel free. You can just kind of put any chat questions in there, and that's usually an easier way to moderate it. And then I can make sure I get those questions answered for you. So the first question I have for our group here today is, the curriculum is rather straightforward, right? Prospective students can go on the website and they can read about the different types of classes. I'm curious if anybody's had any sort of experiential learning opportunities kind of outside of the classroom, whether I know like financial engineering has a lot of different projects they work on. One MBA does some consulting things. I think Masters in Management, I know, does some things like that as well too. So I'd be curious if anybody would be willing to maybe talk about some of the outside of the classroom academic experiences that they're having. Divya, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Kevin, happy to. For sure, MBA has a lot of such activities going on. We have something called the consulting practicum that happens all through fall and spring. We work with real clients. We worked with real clients even for marketing. Had all of these projects are with real clients, so there's a lot at stake. You're kind of exposed to real world problems, and so the kind of it's not just writing a paper. That was very interesting, still is very interesting to work on. Also our 1-week trip to Silicon Valley, where we met a lot of the leading tech companies and Lehigh alums there. So that was also a very interesting exposure to those considering roles in tech and opportunities in tech. These are some of the highlights for one MBA.
Divya, can I follow up real quick? You had talked about in the fall semester, kind of doing a consulting project in your marketing and supply chain class, and that was with a local food and beverage accelerator.
Yes.
Could you maybe talk a little bit about kind of what that project or what that experience looked like?
Yeah, for sure. So we worked with a local accelerator. They kind of help food and beverage startups sort of to scale bigger than a seed stage company. They invest in them, help them grow. So our project was, we were aligned to 2 different brands. One was a snack and the other was a beverage. So we worked on brand extension. We had to come up with brand extension ideas. We had different stages. It was very well structured. So initial meeting with the client, and then brainstorming, coming up with ideas, had follow-up sessions with them, and then finally we had to pitch them the idea that we had. And it was a continuous process. Like the first 3 weeks or the first 6 weeks was marketing stretch of it, and the second 7 weeks was the logistical end. So the supply chain angle of this is the idea, how do you execute it? It was very, very good from the sense that the feedback that we got was very real. It's, do you consider this? We've considered, if we suggested idea A, so we've already considered this, and these were the challenges for which this hasn't gone live. Or very real feedback of why did you pick this location for your factory to be in if you're facing, you might face these kind of challenges. So justifying every action or every idea that you have was important. So that was the whole project.
Great, thank you. How about any other students? Any other sort of projects or things of interest maybe outside of the classroom that you want to talk about?
Yeah, sorry. In the Masters in Management program, the spring semester that we're in, we have a capstone class. So it's taught by co-taught by 2 professors. We're matched up with various different businesses. So the 3 businesses that we're currently working with are Amazon, which is Amazon, Pratt & Whitney, which is a like jet engine manufacturer, and then Yingling, the brewery. And so we were split up into teams and kind of assigned to the different companies. My team's working with Pratt & Whitney, kind of to figure out their logistics and see where they can save money. And for the past couple of weeks, we've been going on class trips up to each one of the businesses and kind of meeting with some of the higher up executives of the companies, which has been an awesome experience, and kind of hearing their take on like their business strategies and why they operate the way they do.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, those are great companies that you're working with. Any other Lehigh students before I move on to the next question? Go ahead, Besa.
Yes, for me, that's a very important reason why I like this program is because, like I said, I grew up playing chess. I still play chess professionally, so that has been a great focus of my career whilst balancing academics. So I never really had the chance, like I studied economics, but I graduated a year early, so I never had the chance to really test out and practice my skills and knowledge relevant to my academics into the workplace. And then when I came to Lehigh University, so many opportunities for projects, and not just projects for the school, but we are actually working with real corporate companies. Like last semester, my first semester, I worked on trading algorithms with a company called Token Metrics, and I also worked on data analysis for a data analysis focused company looking at blockchain data. And then this semester, I'm working on a company, a young company that is working on an artificial intelligence that is used for financial analysis. So where me and my team come in is that we help train it and provide insights and feedback on how it should approach this analysis using the insights that we've learned and our knowledge and experience and whatnot. And I'm also still working on another blockchain related project. So like even the world of blockchain, the first time I really encountered it aside crypto and such was when I took a blockchain class, and then I was applying what I was learning directly into my data analysis project. So that's a very beautiful part, because before this school, I had never gotten the chance to really apply myself aside my chess career. So that's been a great thing.
Great, thanks everybody. I saw Dharma has some really good questions, so I'm going to answer some of or have the students answer them in a minute. I do want to ask real quick, because one of the most common questions we have is, what is it like to kind of live in Bethlehem for a year to 2 years, depending on the program? I mean, you heard we have students from India, Botswana, Kennett Square. Could you maybe all give us a little bit of perspective on what life is like here in Bethlehem? Duke or Maddie, if either of you would like to go first, just to make sure you have a chance.
Yeah, so I actually commute to campus. I'm from right outside of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, which is about a 30-minute drive. So I can't really comment specifically on living in Bethlehem, but the environment surrounding the campus, I think, is super just like engaging. There's so many activities on campus outside of like day-to-day class activities. Obviously, with a lot of these master's programs, they are a 1 or 2 year program. So you're definitely operating on a schedule that's very like course first. You're here to be a student, but it's so great to see the other opportunities that are available to students in Bethlehem itself and the surrounding areas.
Duke, how about you as an international student? What was it, in studying in other areas of the world? Tell me a little bit about what Bethlehem is like and how the experience has been.
Sure. I mean, 100% agree with Maddie. I mean, and also I think to add to Maddie's point, I think Bethlehem is very, very convenient in terms of if you want to have networking opportunities to New York or Philly. I think it's like a triangular area where Bethlehem, you can actually get very easy access to a lot of large cities, and I think it's also a town where you can enjoy your life and also focus on your study also. So you have a lot of options. So as an international student, I really love the city. I really love the vibe, and also I really love the campus and how the campus looks. It's really beautiful.
Any other? Besa, Divya, Colin?
Couple of things to add would be it's pretty scenic. I like the historic significance, like walking the steel stacks is fun. Or we had a couple of networking events amongst the MBA and the Flex MBA students where we did a ghost tour at a very old hotel museum kind of a thing on the main street. That was fun. And we have another one scheduled, I think, next month with a escape room activity on the main street. There are quite a few very nice walking trails, one that runs right by the river. So it's a pretty neat spot, and I've liked it. Yeah.
For me, I came from Lubbock, Texas in undergrad, and it was a very flat city. And so coming here, the topography is a little different, but it's beautiful, like the other said. The architecture, the school buildings, before coming here, I was searching up the school on TikTok and seeing students talking about how it does look like Hogwarts, and it does. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful environment when you really invest yourself in it. And the fact that it's close to metro cities like New York City is a plus. I've not been to New York yet, but soon and very soon.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Like I said, there were some questions that came in. Let me see if we can address a few. Allison, maybe the concentration thing, the concentration question, if you could just type that out in the chat. Maddie, since these questions are a little bit more MSBA focused, I'd like to focus maybe on question number 2, which talks about resources and support from a career development standpoint. Could you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think technically in the eyes of the business school, the MSBA program and the M squared are considered specialized masters. So we do a lot of work together with the M squared program, some of which is our professional development that I believe last semester we were having those roughly every Wednesday. So it's not overlapping with any of your other courses, so no need to worry about that. But we work with Anameta Halverson, who is a fantastic resource to the graduate students in the College of Business at Lehigh. And she, again, is just teaching because there are a lot of international students in the program. So again, just bridging some of those gaps. American culture is very unique, we'll say that. So again, just be and how to approach an interview, what questions to ask, making an attainable list of these are companies that I really want to look at. Oh, are there Lehigh alumni there? She covers just about anything you can think of and any question that you could ever imagine. She is an incredible resource who is, again, openly available to master students within the College of Business. And she, like, if you put in the work, she will make the time and just do, like, Anameta has been such a fabulous resource to myself and so many other students, and incredibly grateful for her and the work that she does for Lehigh students.
Anybody else want to chime in on that? As far I know, we're talking more about career development and professional development. It doesn't necessarily have to be just isolated to the Masters in Business Analytics. Divya?
Yeah, for sure. Very similar to what Maddie just said. Even the MBA program has the professional development part of the course. So we started in summer, and then we had a second part all through fall. And for sure, Anameta is, I would say, the best resource for career, anything career front. Like, she's reachable on an email. I asked her something yesterday and responds right away, and open to meeting with students one-on-one. And another thing that I really liked about the One MBA program is that we got assigned an industry mentor, matched with our interests. So for me, it was someone in finance who worked in a very similar area that I was interested in. So that was very helpful. So you have multiple resources that you can utilize. It's all up to how we use it. Nothing is ever going to be forced on someone, or it's not going to be structured like you have to do this today and do this tomorrow for you to get what you want. So as long as I feel like as long as the students are self-motivated, we tend to navigate through the whole finding a job scene. Yeah.
Maddie, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to type this in the chat, but I figured it was just easier to say. Another awesome thing that Anameta offers too, I'm assuming it's not just the M squared and MSBA, but we have mock interviews every semester as well, which we bring in real companies who are actually hiring students and in like these entry level, like early career professional roles. And you're able to meet with them. And again, it's not a formal job interview, but it's set up in a way that a real job interview would be set up in. So you're expected to come with your questions, be ready to answer, again, just these typical interview questions that we see. And it's such a fantastic resource because, again, these interviews are inevitable when you're getting a master's, and it's definitely a place that a lot of people don't feel super comfortable in. So to have the opportunity to sort of practice and have this trial run before you're really thrown into it has been a great opportunity as well.
To add to Maddie's point about the mock interviews, I've had a couple of peers from my class being interviewed to land a real interview from the mock interviews, or or it was like, oh, I like you and your background, and if something opens up in my team, I'm happy to let you know, kind of conversations. I know someone who went on to have real meetings with them and kind of grow into something more. So those mock interviews sometimes do lead to real opportunities.
And I'll mention real quick, because there were some follow-up questions about mentoring. Divya had mentioned it. So in the one-year MBA program, there is kind of a built-in mentoring mechanism as part of the program. And as part of that program, we understand that mentoring is very different across different cultures. Many students have never had a mentor before or been in a somewhat structured mentoring relationship. So in the one MBA program, we do kind of briefly cover that before we make that introduction. But across all of the programs, I personally think one of the most underutilized resources here at Lehigh is a tool called Lehigh Connects. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with that. I see some nodding heads. But what that is, I always say it's a LinkedIn for Lehigh. And the value in that is that the alumni that have joined this Lehigh Connect network, they've raised their hand and they've said, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help with this, whether it's resume or CV reviews, whether it's mentoring opportunities. There's a number of different programs across the university that even if your program doesn't have a structured mentor in place, you can gain access to mentors if that's something that really is interesting to you. So I did just kind of want to mention that. Let me see, there were some other questions here. Just give me a second. So related, going back to Dharma's question, if you look at each of our program pages, we do have detailed information about starting salary, companies where students are potentially or ending up from the last cycle. We likely will be updating that information soon. Our most recent data just got internally released in the last week or two, so we have to take a look at that. But that's where the most up-to-date hiring information would be, kind of across all of our pages. Not to put our students on the spot, and I know some of you are maybe graduating in May or August or a little bit later. Any job offers yet, or any sort of traction with careers? I know that's always important to prospective students. And people maybe don't want to share. Basic, go ahead.
Yeah, so for the artificial intelligence in finance project that I talked about, I have gotten an internship offer from the project manager, so I look forward to that.
Good. I'll mention that a number of our programs do offer optional internships, which we know, especially for international students, that can be kind of a secondary pathway into a company. So I know the one MBA offers that as an option. Some of our other programs do as well too. Divya, you were going to mute yourself.
Yeah. So I have a job offer lined up to start after I graduate in May. Yeah, it's the role that I wanted in the kind of tier 1 bank that I wanted. So very grateful for how that turned out to be.
I didn't want to put you on the spot, but yeah, it's a great firm, and we'll kind of leave it at that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And to others' points, I mean, if any of the current students are not working with Anna Meta Halverson, she is based in our office, so she works only with really MBA and specialty master's programs. And as far as her process goes, I would explain it as very hands-on. I mean, she'll literally, if you have an interview, she will sit and prepare for you, as much as you need to be. We recently had a one MBA student, Divya, not from your cohort, from the previous cohort that was kind of finishing up the program. And between her and I, over 2 weeks, we probably spent 20 hours with this student preparing them for a top tier tech company interview. So, which went very well. We'll just leave it at that because I want to respect the student's privacy. But yeah, so we really have a very hands-on approach. Anna Meta, down to when you get an offer, she will sit and look at the contract. She will send it over to a contact that she has who's a lawyer to look at it, just to give you kind of perspectives on what you are signing and what that potentially means. So it is a very hands-on kind of career-focused approach that she definitely takes.
Kevin, I can definitely second that. Even for the interview that worked out for me, Anameta did. Like I told her this is happening on Thursday. She worked with me. She did her prep. I did my prep. She also came with more points, and she was like, okay, and then gave me a whole mock interview that morning. We worked together for an hour and a half, and then gave me questions like, what are the questions that you have planned to ask at the end? And she was like, okay, what about this? What about a couple of other points to add on to whatever I did? So yeah, she did a lot of homework before giving me that mock interview.
Good, good. Let me ask another question for the group. So, and this sometimes is a hard question. What's your biggest challenge been so far since you arrived at Lehigh?
If I may go, for one MBA, it's definitely managing time. There are a lot of classes and many credits. At a given point, we finished 53 credits in 13 months. So fall was definitely hard from that angle. We did 18 credits, and you're also working on job interviews and lining those up, networking, building connections. So it's managing time would be the biggest challenge, or that's the challenge that most of the class faces.
How about Colin or Duke? If you don't mind, I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, I would agree with the with time management. It's definitely a lot. Like the master's management program is basically all of the business core classes that are offered to Lehigh undergraduate students in compressed into 9 months. So it is definitely a lot of work, but I'm also on a varsity sports team here, and so it is definitely manageable and able to be done. But definitely is a little bit of a learning curve.
Duke, what are your thoughts?
So I think one of the biggest challenges, as other guests has mentioned, it is time management. I actually be engaged with a lot of research assistant work and also teaching assistant work at the same time. So it was I wouldn't call it really a challenge. I really enjoy. I really enjoy the fulfilling experience that those kind of challenges are giving me in terms of really positive feedbacks, and that's probably my biggest challenge, I think.
Great. So time management definitely sounds like probably the most important skill set, especially for some of our students in the one-year programs like the Masters in Management, MSBA, and one-year MBA program. A question that I think it would be helpful to a lot of prospective students watching this is, so maybe at this time last year or a year and a half ago, Lehigh was obviously on your short list of schools. Is there something maybe you wish you would have known then about Lehigh that maybe would have helped you at the time? I know that's a little bit of a tricky question, but thinking back, like, feel free, and maybe my question doesn't make total sense, but I'm just curious, like something you thought about Lehigh that when you got here, maybe the experience was a little bit different.
I can go.
Sure.
So, for me, I spoke to the program manager, Professor Zoro, a year before joining the program, like in 2022, because I knew I wanted to do financial engineering. So I had a good sense of what I was going to be facing. But of course, when you join it, then you realize the program is rigorous and time management is necessary. But it's not, I don't think what I have in mind is very specific to Lehigh University, but it's more to do with like the program and the grad school and such. Is you have to balance like imposter syndrome and those things that happen when you are joining a cohort of people that have different experiences, different levels of excellence, different everything. So it's, I watched many YouTube videos, I listened to podcasts, I was like, I'm ready. Grad school doesn't know me, I'm gonna be, and I got there and imposter syndrome hit me my first semester, and I felt like I was not enough and that I don't know, this program is too tough, I don't know if I can make it, I don't know. And then, by God's grace, I still ended the semester well. But it's something you should understand it's there, but having ways to manage that when it happens. Like Colin said, you should have other, aside school and work, you should have a balance. Try to engage in activities that help build contentment and joy, because in joining the program, if you know how you think mentally is not right, everything is definitely going to be failing. But if you can have that balance, I think it'll help you a great deal.
I appreciate that. That's a very honest answer. And like we just heard, time management is the most important thing, but finding time for yourself is most important. Could anybody talk about like things that you enjoy doing? Like Besa saying, finding time for themselves, maybe something that you try to do outside of the curriculum?
I can touch on that a little bit. I know that there are a handful of mixers hosted for the different graduate programs within the business school. I think 2 weeks ago we had a mixer in the Business Innovation Building, which is the brand new, beautiful building on campus. And it's just a really like fun environment to get to know people that you see every day in the building, and just kind of be able to like take that wall down and not have to worry about sitting in class and just have like a genuine conversation, make a nice connection. So we had that event a couple weeks ago, and even last semester too. I know Alyssa Clapp, who is the advisor for the M Squared program and the MSBA, she had a bowling night for us last semester, which was pretty fun. So just again, like stuff that all of these programs are for the most part are in like this cohort structure. So you're spending a lot of time with the same handful of people, being able to kind of hang out in a more relaxed environment where you're not worried about school or time management or whatever it may be. Just really lets people take their guard down, and just genuinely you get to enjoy hanging out with these people that you see 5 days a week.
Anybody else have any thoughts about that? Things you like to do outside of the classroom?
I can go again. It's definitely playing chess. I still do that, and as many organizations on campus that you can have access to. Like I'm a part of the University Bible Fellowship, and I've been to New Jersey on retreats with the same fellowship, and like these free food lunch thingies on campus that you can sign up for, and like there's a women's lunch every other Thursday on campus, and that's that's a very good opportunity to interact with other people and hear from them and their experiences, and just unwind and stop thinking about the numbers, stop thinking about school and everything, and just interact with other human beings who are going through the same process. So just if you can make use of the resources on campus, because there are many, but if you're not proactive in going out there to like find and use them, then it's
Yeah, thanks, Besa. This is a very practical question that we hear a lot. And I know some of you are commuting. I think Maddie's commuting. Colin, I don't know if you're commuting or not. Housing, graduate housing at Lehigh. Could anybody talk about if they're living on campus, if they're living off campus? Any perspective about kind of that? That's a little bit outside of our department, but I think it's a question that comes up a lot. So if anyone has any thoughts about graduate housing or living kind of near campus in Bethlehem, I think that would be something of interest to people.
I found a place off campus that was very, very close to campus, walkable distance. There are lots of places close to campus. So based on convenience, budget, there are many options.
How did you find that, Divya? As an international student from India, I'd be curious to hear that.
I use the places for students to look for places that were open.
Good. And for those who don't know, so places for students, if you search for Lehigh graduate housing, there is a section with off-campus housing. And in essence, what that is it's a portal of kind of local landlords that will put off-campus housing available. I think you can set up profiles, so you could say like, I'm interested in a roommate, or I want to live by themselves. But for kind of non-affiliated Lehigh housing within the area, that's always the place we point people to. How about anybody else? Does anybody live on campus, or is somebody off campus?
Yeah, I'm off
So I live,
campus as well.
yes, sir.
Off campus space, within walking distance to campus?
Yeah, that was a must for me, because I want to be able to, walk near campus, and, and then there's of course like places like Sukun Village with some, you access via the bus. The bus system at Lehigh University, I think it's a very good system that they use. And if a lot of times, right, for grad students, the concern is budgets. So there are many different kinds of houses that you can access near Lehigh University, depending on what your budgetary needs are. You just have to be very proactive about searching, because Places for Students has a number of listings, but there's a high demand, right? We have many students that are looking for houses. So you just have to be proactive. Contact the Lehigh University Real Estate Office. They usually have places to rent on their website. Contact other real estate agents that you find online. Ask professors and such. That's something I found very useful. Even I had to do like a scramble for Africa when I was looking for housing coming here, because I looked on Places for Students, I looked on other websites, I kept searching because until I found the house that I live in.
Great. Colin, I think you were going to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm living off campus, literally 100 yards between the two business buildings where all my classes are, so a 30-second walk. And I'm living with two graduate students in a different program. But we got it through one of the big kind of real estate programs around here. So
Yeah, there's typically 2 or 3 large landlords in the area that own a lot of the large properties, or a lot of the properties near Lehigh University. And I will mention quick for students that maybe, or prospective students that haven't really thought through housing, we do have on-campus graduate housing. Besa had mentioned it. It's primarily called Saucon Village, which is kind of at the top of the mountain, or maybe even on the other side of the mountain. We're at kind of the base. The main part of the campus is at the base of South Mountain, and there is lotteries for that throughout the year. So you can find that information, where if you were interested in trying to get on-campus housing, you're able to enter like a summer lottery if your program is going to begin in the summer, or a fall lottery. And if you're not selected for that, then you can start to look at off-campus housing. And we're happy to follow up with anybody that needs some information on that. Anything else related to housing? Duke, if you don't mind me asking, are you off-campus or on-campus?
So right now I live off campus, but it's like 7 minutes walk to the business building, so I don't have to own a vehicle. But I mean, I do have some friends who live on campus who is really enjoy on campus because it's a really good deal, and is it had the whole community management is really good. And also I do have some of the friends who who will drive 15 to 20 minutes, who live at probably north side of Bethlehem, or there's a large apartments or well-organized apartments, who will have like a larger room, a little bit more rent. But I think those are really good options as well. It really depends on what kind of style of housing that you want.
Mm-hmm. And Duke, let me ask you a follow-up question. As an international student, how did you find your housing, and did you have it in place before you came to Bethlehem?
So we do have, we do have WhatsApp group. So there's a lot of landlords posting information as well. We also have a WeChat group as well. A lot of furniture exchanges, sales, and also a lot of leases from landlords is posting ads on the group chat. So it's super convenient. And also I think there are a lot of options from the housing websites that from the university websites, that also you can connect with certain agencies, or those are some of the options. I think it's really convenient since there's a lot of options.
Great, thank you. That's super helpful. I think that's one of the most common questions we get. And again, you can always, we're not the experts in our office in housing, but if you email business@lehigh.edu for any sort of general questions, we can definitely make sure we get you to the right department around campus. I just have one or two other questions, and I'll mention Divya had to jump off because the one MBA program has class in a couple minutes. So she was telling you how busy she is, and that's definitely the case. I'd like to ask the group, is there anything maybe that, looking back now that you've been here at least for a semester, some of you have been here for a year, is there anything maybe you would have done differently to prepare for arriving at Lehigh? Whether that's from a professional development standpoint, from an academic standpoint. I'd just be curious, like looking back before you started the program, is there any advice that you might be able to give to our prospective students that are here today?
I
Maddie?
can talk about that a little bit. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did not go to Lehigh for undergrad, but I knew that Lehigh was on my list of schools I looked at for undergrad, but it didn't work out, and that's okay. I'm here now. But I obviously knew that Lehigh had this really strong reputation of this sort of like Lehigh family with such a great alumni presence in pretty much most sectors of business that you could be looking into to work in after graduation. So my biggest regret, the MSBA, we started in July. So we have a summer semester, fall semester, spring, graduate in May. And I wish that I took advantage of this Lehigh network earlier. I know, again, we were meeting with Anna Meta over the summer and she was saying, oh, it's never too early. It's never too early. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is she saying? But she is completely right. It's never too early to start reaching out to alumni. And like Kevin said, Lehigh Connects has been a tool that I've taken advantage of and it's been fantastic. But yeah, never too early to start reaching out to alumni. Once you're here, you have the Lehigh name with you. So definitely take advantage of it, especially if you are in one of these one-year programs where you're in and out. So there's lots to take advantage of there.
Great, thank you. Any other current students, any other advice you would give, maybe something that you wish you would have known or maybe done a little differently?
I would have reached out to more people who go to Lehigh and are in my program or similar programs to what I'm doing. I did that because that's what I usually do when going into new places. But I think I could have done it more so that I have a good understanding of what I'm about to face and what the environment is like. And just like I said, me coming to Lehigh started with a conversation in 2022 with the program manager, so that built an awesome reputation in my head of what Lehigh University is like. So just reach out to as many people as you can and try to find out more about, of course, when you're not speaking to official representatives of Lehigh University, they are most likely to get a non-biased view, right? So that's something good. Use LinkedIn, use whatever resources you can find to just, appreciate the school before you actually set foot on the ground.
Great, Besa, thank you. Well, you know what? That was actually all the questions I had, and I don't want to keep asking questions just for the sake of asking questions. So I want to thank all of you who were able to attend today, especially our students who took out the time of their schedule to be able to spend this about 55 minutes with us today. Again, if you haven't engaged with us yet, for our prospective students, my name is Kevin, Allison. You can reach us at business@lehigh.edu. I'll mention that we do have a number of recorded information sessions on our website that ranges from going deep into each one of our programs to also the career journey. You heard Anna Meta's name mentioned a couple times today, so we have some really interesting recordings up there of her kind of talking through the career process, and something that we follow here closely in a lot of our programs. And for our current students, if you're not working with Anna Meta, it's never too late to schedule a meeting with her and kind of talk through maybe what your next career steps would be. And again, on our website, we have all of our information listed as far as application deadlines. We do have some round 2 deadlines coming up here in the next couple days, but you can check your specific program page as far as when deadlines are for our programs. Many of them begin in either the summer or in the beginning of the fall semester. So don't hesitate to engage with us. Allison and I meet constantly with prospective students, so we're happy to kind of help you through the process. And again, hope to see your application soon. Thanks again to our current students, and thanks again, hopefully, for choosing Lehigh. Hope everybody has a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.